If you're a freelancer, agency owner, or consultant and you're looking to grow your business using cold email, I have good news. I'm about to show you this exact blueprint that the top outreach teams are currently using to generate millions of dollars in revenue using cold email. I'm going to break this down into 4 parts. The mindset you need to be successful when sending cold emails, the top performing cold email framework that works in any industry, the key metrics to track for success, and the golden follow-up strategy to book more meetings. Without further ado, let's jump in. So the first part is about the mindset. Sending cold emails shouldn't be you using a generic template, spamming it to thousands of companies, just praying to get a response. That's not how you grow your business. Cold emailing is about saying the right things at the right time to the right person. And this is exactly how it works. You need these 3 things first. First, you need to narrow down your ideal customer profile. Who exactly is it that you're targeting? Who are you trying to reach? What products or services do they sell? And then you have to go a layer deeper. Who are their competitors? What are their pain points? What challenges or issues are they currently trying to resolve? You have to take all these factors into consideration before you even send your first cold email. If you don't know at least 90% of the people you're trying to email, then your lead list is either way too large or you did not do enough research. And speaking of research and having a lead list, the second thing you need is clean, accurate data. The emails you send are only as good as your list. And lastly, number 3. Figure out exactly how many emails you plan on sending per day. Are you running an email campaign where you're planning to send hundreds or even thousands of emails? Or are you sending a select few personalized yet highly targeted emails? I typically recommend keeping the volume low. I'm talking about 30 to 50 emails per inbox per domain. A lot of email providers, Gmail, Outlook, they have what's called spam triggers. So if the domain provider suspects any non-human activities on your account, they can flag your whole company's domain as spam. This will greatly hinder your company's ability to send emails. So if you're running a larger email campaign, I recommend tools such as Instantly.ai or Smartly.ai to help you scale your email automations so that you can bypass the spam triggers. Here is a top performing cold email framework that you can use no matter what industry you're in. I use this framework for all my email campaigns, and one campaign actually received a 37.6% reply rate on opened emails. This framework is called the P.O.P.C.O.R.N framework. Let's break it down. P stands for pattern interrupt. Everyone hates obvious sales emails and they usually get ignored. So you have to break their pattern. You have to send something that they normally would expect, not the opposite, because if they wouldn't expect your email, they're probably going to trigger it as spam. So your goal is to fly under the radar and send something that's going to spark their curiosity. And this typically starts in the subject line. Keep it 1 to 3 words max. For example, onboarding, Q1 expansion, new hire, quote request. O stands for observation. Start with something relevant about them or their company. I recommend using phrases like it seems like, it looks like, or it sounds like. So for example, hey John, it looks like you've expanded your sales team by 18% last quarter. Congrats. The next P stands for problem. Now you have to tie in a problem related to that observation. So you can say something along the lines of, I saw in a recent press conference, you initially mentioned your goal was 30%. Curious, why do you feel that target wasn't achieved? C stands for common struggle. This is where you normalize the problem by pointing out that this is a common struggle that you see often. So you can say something along the lines of, most execs I talk to say it's because their teams are spending too much time chasing low potential accounts. O stands for opportunity. Show them what your clients or similar companies are currently doing that they are missing out on. So you could say something along the lines of, similar companies like Apple and Google are using AI to prioritize high converting accounts. R stands for results. Now you have to tie in social proof to back up those claims. You can use things like case studies, testimonials, demo videos. For example, their reps Now spend 30% less time guessing and more time closing with confidence. Here's a quick demo. And finally, N stands for next step. This is where you would put your call to action. Typically, I like to use a soft ask to kind of gauge their interest. So I'll say something along the lines of, would you be interested in learning more? And that's it. That's the P.O.P.C.O.R.N framework. As long as you can understand this framework, you can apply it across various industries. And here are some extra bonus tips. First, keep it under 100 words. No one wants to read a whole essay. Second, keep it under a 6th grade reading level. In the US, the average reading level of an adult is considered to be around a 7th grader. So you have to keep your email super simple and easy to understand. And lastly, I recommend using the Hemingway app. It's a free website where you can check the word count and the reading level grade of your email so that you can make those changes and follow those guidelines I mentioned earlier. Part number 3 is about tracking email metrics that matter. Great emails don't mean anything if it's not increasing your bottom line. These benchmarks can vary by your industry, your product, who you're selling to, so take these numbers with a grain of salt. Remember, the goal here is to improve these numbers over time as you get better at writing cold emails. So let's get into them. I personally recommend to focus on 3 main cold email metrics: open rates, reply rates, and conversion rates. For open rates, aim for about 40 to 60%. If you send 100 emails, you can expect 40 to 60 people to open that email. If your open rates are extremely low, and I'm talking about under 20%, then there could be a problem with either your subject line, your email deliverability rates, or even your email provider. And if that's the case, I recommend testing different subject lines, maybe switching email providers. And if there's no luck, then there's a high chance that you're using spam trigger words. So avoid this list of words at all costs. Next, we have reply rates, and I'm talking about specifically positive replies. I like to aim for 8 to 12% positive replies. So any replies that shows actual interest, not just replies saying, remove me from your list or stop emailing me. Because let's be honest, you're going to get that sometimes. Next, we have conversion rates, and there's 2 levels of conversions, and I'm going to break down both just so you're not confused. There's the micro conversion rate, which is the booked meetings that you've gained over the positive replies that showed interest. And then there's the macro conversion rate, which is the booked meetings you got over the total number of cold emails you sent out. So let's give you a real life example just so you can kind of visualize this. Let's say you sent 100 personalized cold emails and your open rate was 50%, which means 50% of people saw and opened your email. If your reply rate is 10%, which means you have 10% positive replies, 10 people are actually interested in learning more, wanting to continue a conversation with you. And let's say you have a micro conversion rate of 30%, which means out of those 10 positive leads, you have 3 people who've actually booked a meeting with you. So if we take the total number of meetings, which is 3, divided by the total number of cold emails that we sent, which is 100, we'll get 3%. And that is the macro conversion rate. And we can even take this a layer deeper and calculate the closing rate. So if you were able to close 1 out of every 3 meetings into a new client, your closing rate would be 33%. So if you want to acquire 10 new clients, given those figures I've just shown, you would likely need to send out 1,000 cold emails. And this is assuming that your funnel is healthy at every step of the way. Cold emailing is a numbers game. So track those different metrics and try to improve one variable at a time. So you can A/B test different subject lines, different hooks, different call to actions. Over time, as you're collecting data, you're going to notice a trend. As long as your figures and your numbers are improving, you're on the right track. So stay consistent. "75% of sales rep never follow up after the first email. If the average reply rate is 0 to 5%, you might as well not even send that initial email. If someone doesn't reply, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not interested. Maybe they're busy, maybe they're distracted, or your email got buried. So here's how to properly follow up to book more meetings without sounding too desperate. First, wait 3 days before you send a second email. And don't be like other reps saying, just following up or just checking in. You're going to get ignored. Instead, in that second email, you have to offer something new, like new context, new case studies, new insights. Here's a great example of a follow-up email. Hey John, thought this quick case study might help. This shows how MedTech booked 30% more meetings using what we talked about. Would this be helpful for your team this quarter? And after the second email, wait another 3 days before you send a third email. And this time, this email has to be a completely new email with a different goal. This is a great opportunity to send them a free high-value lead magnet to get them to open up to you more and trust you. You could offer things like a free custom guide with step-by-step actionable data, a free Loom breakdown showing them exactly the gaps in their business strategy, or a free trial to your program or service. And here's a great example of that. Hey Greg, saw your team enjoyed the demo. Figured this might help. Here's a free week trial of our lead gen tool. No strings, just full access to high quality leads and test it for yourself. Would love to hear how it performs for your team. And that is 3 total follow-up emails. Each one is separated by a few days and each one offers real value, either insights, proof, or a free lead magnet. So here's what usually happens. Most of the replies, like 60 to 70% of replies, come after the second or third emails. If you stop after just sending one email, you're missing out on the majority of your opportunities. Cold emailing isn't about luck. It's about following the right system that's been proven time and time again. And now you finally got it, the mindset, the cold email framework, and the strategies you need to write your cold emails to target high-ticket clients. Hope you got value from this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.